Hello and good afternoon. So I thought I'd get out some Gemini Aces, P51 Bs and Cs. These are probably my second favourite Mustang, behind the Dragon Warbirds examples, which only do P51Ds. But we'll go through them one by one anyhow. So the first one is the P51 B of Lieutenant Robert Eckfeldt, which is Bald Eagle. You may have seen this made by Amacom, but this is the real version. The second one is a current UK resident, hopefully to fly within the next few weeks again, and that's the P51 B Berlin Express of Lieutenant William Overstreet of the 357th Fighter Group, based at Leiston in 1944. The third is my favourite Mustang, and this is the P51C Princess Elizabeth. Was previously owned by the Fighter Collection, now owned by Allied Fighters. And that is Bill Wisner. Is also renowned for having P51D Moonbeam McSwine. On to the fourth one. This is a P51 Mustang 3, which is the equivalent of a C, I think. And that is of Wing Commander Stanislaw Skalski, who is the highest scoring Polish ace of World War II. And the final one is Ding Hao, a completely different shade, as you can tell from the Berlin Express, and this is Major James H. Howard of the 354th Fighter Group, 9th Air Force. He was a winner of the Congressional Medal of Honor. So, maybe zoom out so you get a bit of an overview again. So we're going to go through them one by one and talk about some of the differences. The first Mustang we want to talk about is the P51C Princess Elizabeth, then owned by the Fighter Collection at Duxford. As you can see, a very, very happy Stephen Gray in the cockpit there. This was originally bought, I believe, in the late 90s, early 2000s. It came over and did one air show. It was then crated up and sent back to Chino to have a full overhaul, because I believe it was a P51C with P51D wings at the time, and it was put back into pretty much stock condition. It then came back in July 2006 to make its debut, before promptly being shipped off again to Allied Fighters to go under new ownership. It then came back again in July 2014. In fact, no, it came back a little bit earlier than that. I believe in April or May 2014 for the Eagle Squadron celebration. So that was the P47 Thunderbolt, the Mark I Spitfire AR213 and the Biggin Hill-based Hurricane. And they did a series of 4-ship passes over the UK with Sally B. I believe Bud Anderson went up in Miss Velma to go along with them as well. Fantastic, obviously, display that year, piloted by 4 extremely fantastic pilots. And in July 2014, I was invited to have a real close-up look at this at Flying Legends 2014 by Reno Air Race winner Steve O'Hinton, son of Steve Hinton. He invited me up on the wing to have a look in the cockpit, and I was too scared because I was a rather chunky chap at the time, and I didn't want to be known as the man who broke Princess Elizabeth, so I stayed firmly on terra firma, having a look around it. But it was really nice to get up close and personal to an aircraft as fantastic as this. Anyhow, as I was saying, this is my favourite Mustang. It's limited in terms of numbers. I can't give you exact numbers, but I know it was under 1,000, and it was actually commissioned by Flying Tigers there, who are based at Sywell Airport, for that air show. So in order to get my hands on one, I was absolutely overjoyed. In fact, I've got 2 now in the collection. I've got a boxed one and an unboxed one. So one might well go up for sale at some point, but it's just nice to have it in the collection. It was one I was really after for a long time. Beautiful finish, lovely paint scheme, perfect rendition of the aircraft in question. So just I'll give you a little bit of a walk around there. The second aircraft I'm going to talk through is the P51 B of Lieutenant William Overstreet of the 357th Fighter Group, based at Leiston. This is a famous aircraft mainly for chasing an ME-109 underneath the Eiffel Tower and shooting it down eventually. It's, you know, several paintings sort of depicting that out there. In terms of the aircraft itself, it's currently in the UK. It's based at the moment at the Aircraft Restoration Company at Duxford. It's just having its canopy repaired after an incident where it was flown prior to Flying Legends last year, I believe. In terms of the canopy, is now got a new Malcolm hood fitted to it, so hopefully it'll be good to go relatively soon. Famed for obviously the red and yellow checkers on the propeller there. I've got a few aircraft, obviously Old Crow being one of them, Nuki Buki being another, but there's quite a few out there that can make a whole squadron's worth. I'm desperate to get the Old Crow version of Gemini in the B model. I've got the D model by a couple of manufacturers, but it would be nice to see that in 172 alongside it. The third aircraft is the RAF P51 Mustang 3 of Stanislaw Skalski. So he was the highest scoring ace from the Polish squadrons anyhow in World War II. This is a lovely, lovely aircraft. It just looks so right in D-Day stripes. If anyone's seen the P51 D at Duxford Sharkey, it's just had a set of D-Day stripes on it. Obviously it's a D, not very accurate for its period because it's an Italian-based aircraft, but it does look absolutely the nuts, if you don't mind me saying. There's another one that Gemini make, which is Leonard Cheshire, so he's a renowned Lancaster pilot. His aircraft is in plain markings, but it's got the D-Day stripes on and looks absolutely stunning alongside this one. Corgi also make a P51D in the Warbirds range with D-Day stripes on as well. I was slightly disappointed that the Corgi didn't decide to do a D-Day striped Mustang for this year, especially I've got a new mould. But there's enough on offer to keep everyone interested, I'm sure. The fourth aircraft is Bald Eagle, so that's Lieutenant Robert Eckfeldt of Bottisham in England in autumn 1944. As you can see, the partial D-Day stripes on the fuselage end, as most of them have been removed off of the top wings and the full sort of fuselage wrap by that point due to air superiority. This one's been made by Amacom, who did a fair rendition of it. It's not a bad looking aircraft, but this is far, far superior in finish and fit. As you can see, it's obviously a B model as well with a similar shaped hood to this one. But if you have a look, that's got the Malcolm hood. I forget the name of this hood here. Even though they're both B models, there's a number of variations on the hoods. I'll just give you a little bit of a walk around. So the last one here is Ding Hao of Major James H. Howard of the 354th Fighter Group. Brilliant story around James Howard. He was known as the one-man air force. So after engaging some Messerschmitts, he levelled off with the bomber formation, and he found himself on his own. And the bombers were coming under heavy attack by about 30 Messerschmitts and Focke-Wulfs. So, like a true nutcase, he decided to actually engage them on his own and actually shot down 3 confirmed and 3 probables whilst on his own, and was then awarded the Congressional Medal of Honour. So a fantastic story associated with this aircraft. A real hero flying it who showed absolute disregard for his own safety. To do something like that in the heat of the moment in battle over enemy territory obviously takes some cojones, I think it's fair to say. So yeah, lovely looking model, different shade of sort of olive drab on this one. If I compare it to that, the obviously Berlin Express is much lighter in comparison, but lovely finish. Looks very similar to the Mustangs used in the film of Memphis Belle as well. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that. Obviously those D models, but the finish is very, very similar to that as well. So that's it. I just thought I'd give you a quick overview of the Gemini Mustangs. If you ever see them out and about at air shows or on eBay, well worth a bid. You can often find Sniper I didn't bring out, but it's often very cheap because there was a lot of quality issues around that one. So you might have to put it back together, but for 5 or 10 quid or whatever it may cost you, it will be worth it. So the ones I need are the Tuskegee one, the Luftwaffe bird and Old Crow. Other than that, I've got every single one. So the 3 more I'm looking for, but unfortunately those 3 will probably cost about 500 quid if I ever come across them together. So they are difficult to find. I think they're probably more common in the US than they are over here. Okay, that's it from me. Like I said, I've been trying to put up more sort of mini videos as we go. Any feedback as ever, please let us know. Any requests, that'd be great. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.